Hi guys, welcome to Counterfire. My name is Connor, and today we're going to be breaking down, the recent anti-Semitism drama with Twitch, which I like to call the Sabra Hummus Panel Massacre. Now, if it seems like I'm reading, it's because I am, so my apologies in advance, but I want to make sure that I get all the details. Recently, Twitch has come under fire with accusations of anti-Semitism due to platforming and monetizing popular streamers who have at minimum have said controversial things about Israel, October 7th, the United States, Yemeni Houthi pirates, all with full monetization, with the streamer Hasan Piker in particular seeming to be untouchable. Not only that, but it was recently revealed that the company Twitch IP banned the State of Israel from creating new accounts. This has blown up to the point that popular Jewish YouTuber Ethan Klein has called it out, along with popular streamer Destiny and his Jewish co-host of the Anything Else podcast, Dan. So far, Twitch CEO Dan Clancy has ignored the controversy, and it has escalated to the point that the Anti-Defamation League is involved. Recently, several streamers who participated in a panel about who can say the word Habibi have been banned. Habibi means my love or beloved in Arabic and is common slang. This panel was hosted by Twitch and sponsored by Capcom, Samsung, and Chevron, giants of gaming, telecommunications, and energy. The main problem with this Twitch panel is that it's being accused of using dog whistles to rip on Jews. The panel featured the categories Arab, Arab-coded, asks permission, thinks it's a slur, and loves Sabra. For the sake of the panel, Love Sabra was supposed to be a dig at people who like the popular hummus brand and how those people are inauthentically Arab. However, there's an issue that requires translation. Sabra translates literally in Arabic to Jew from Israel. The brand Sabra is partially Israeli owned, and the Lebanese town of Sabra was also the location of a historical massacre facilitated by Israel. This has led to some accusing the panelists of anti-Semitism. Now, before you accuse the accusers of hypersensitivity, let's go over what some of these streamers have said and done both on that panel and off. During the panel, Frogan brought up Ethan Klein, resulting in boos from the audience, and immediately suggested the Loves Sabra category. Not just that, but she encouraged the crowd who was booing to keep booing. Off panel, Frogan has said that she hates US soldiers and hopes they all get PTSD. Awesome. Denham's responded by saying, "You guys are missing a category, Zionist," reinforcing the fact that the panel was about Arab ethnic adjacency rather than a joke about actual hummus. Denhams has repeatedly called Ethan Klein a Zionist, and I think I need to remind you that Twitch lefties have excused as reasonable things to do to Zionists. Namely, Tim Houthi Chalamet tweeting out a gentleman getting impaled, and some people thinking that that is reasonable. Not just that, but in a recent stream, Denhams cheered on a chatter who had convinced their father to no longer support the state of Israel, and in weird phrasing seemed to be supporting the terrorist organization Hamas. Capri Sunny is of Jewish descent and to my knowledge hasn't made any edgy comments on or off the live stream. However, he did say sarcastically on Twitter that the panel was actually more anti-Semitic than anyone thought because it was referencing the Sabra and Shatila massacre. While he has since clarified that this was a joke, it helped fuel the fire of the controversy. To my knowledge, VO didn't say anything outrageous on or off the panel, but was caught up in the bans, which brings us to Hasan Piker. Hasan Piker was not on the panel, but is the largest political streamer in the Western world and has a history of disgusting controversies. He was born in New Jersey, but raised in Turkey until his teenage years. Hasan has leveraged working for the Young Turks and an early boost from the streamer Destiny into a successful livestream career. That being said, he has previously said America deserved 9/11, that a brave Mujahideen soldier made love to Congressman Dan Crenshaw's eye hole. He has minimized the murders and sexual assaults that occurred on October 7th. He has repeatedly sympathized with Hamas and Hezbollah terrorist organizations on stream, and was recently in a controversy for uncritically watching Yemeni Houthi propaganda. Twitch has been facing increasing backlash on social media about the panel, wild statements made by these creators, their double standards about bans in reference to Asmongold, and accusations of anti-Semitism for the Israeli IP ban. With the Anti-Defamation League getting involved, it's a question of if the controversy boils over to the point sponsors pull out, or if they weather this storm. Now, if you just wanted the drama, that's it, but here on Counterfire, I want to take interpersonal dramas and then smuggle in some actually good information so you all don't remain ignorant morons. So I want to tell you about why Arab Muslims and Jews are beefing so passionately about this issue. I'll try to be as brief as I can while giving you good information. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are all Abrahamic religions, meaning they root from the prophet Abraham. Abraham was one of the first monotheists in the Middle East and North Africa and was situated at the crossroads of humanity. The Jewish people spread between Egypt and modern Israel, with archaeological records suggesting that the migration and conquest of Israel happened in around 1200 before Christ. Israel, the Jewish state, survived invasion by the Greeks, Babylonians, and the Romans, and this was a time that Jesus Christ comes into the picture. Jesus claimed to be the Son of God, and where Judaism was an insular religion that kept to itself, Christianity was a universal religion. Israel was sacked by the Romans in 70 AD, and this was part of what inspired the book of Revelations. Through a series of political and religious intrigues, Christianity became the official religion of the Roman Empire and spread into Europe. Next was the time of Islam. Muhammad, peace be upon him, was born in Mecca and was a universalist monotheist. This means he did believe that Christ was a great prophet, but he didn't believe that he was God, and he hated the pagan religions around him, but he wanted the one true God to be for everyone. Through a series of political upheavals and military conquests, Muhammad and his followers seized the twin cities of Mecca and Medina, and Muhammad had a dream of Jerusalem. The Muslims and Christians fought over the Middle East and North Africa in what is commonly known as the expansion of the Caliphates and the Crusades. This climaxed in 1099 when Crusaders sacked Jerusalem and put the whole city to the sword. The slaughter was so bad that many Jews fled the territory in what is now known as the Jewish diaspora. Meanwhile, Islam spread across Eurasia in what is effectively a belt, but its inroads into Europe were pushed back, ultimately resulting in close to our modern borders of nation-states. For roughly 400 years, Palestine was a province of the Ottoman Empire. Palestine is a term given to the area by the Romans, is related to the ancient rivals of Israel, the Philistines, and was believed to be a punishment against the Jews for their many revolts. In the Islamic religious hierarchy, pagans and atheists are at the bottom and are politically dispossessed, if not outright killed. People of the book, or Abrahamic religions, have a place in Islamic society, but are misguided sects, and therefore Jews and Christians have to pay deference to their Muslim rulers. In the history of the Caliphate, there was no separation of church and state, and if you follow Prophet Muhammad's example, peace be upon him, there shouldn't be. In the mid to late 1800s, there was a movement called Zionism calling for Jews to return and reestablish the state of Israel in Palestine, former Judea. Some moved there and started settlements. After the massacre of European Jews by Adolf Hitler's Germany, this project became even more important. Millions of Jews moved to Israel, and in 1948 they declared their independence. Neighboring Arab Muslim nations attacked, unwilling to tolerate an independent Jewish nation in their midst. These attacks were repelled, and many of the Muslims who had previously lived in Israel were dispossessed. This cycle has happened multiple times, with Israel gaining more and more territory and Palestinian Muslims unwilling to work with Israel being pushed out. The Sabra and Shatila massacre was actually a time that Hezbollah was firing rockets into Israel, so Israel invaded Lebanon. Israel supported a Christian militia known as the Phalanges with nighttime flares, and the militia killed a few thousand men, women, and children. Israel backing the Phalanges and the United States backing Israel's withdrawal was actually part of the reason Osama bin Laden attacked the United States on September 11, 2001. It can also be said that it was Israel's political, economic, and military pressure on Gaza and the West Bank that led to the October 7th massacre. So Jews rightfully point out their history is filled with exile and massacre and that they need a safe state to call home. Palestinian Muslims rightfully point out that they also have historical ties to the land and they are being slowly assimilated or ethno-religiously displaced. So the broader Muslim community, known as the Ummah, has to choose between making peace with Israel, which is a form of acknowledging a religious secular order, or supporting terrorists who murder men, women, and children because they cannot compete with Israel militarily. The United States gains and loses a lot by trading with this part of the world, but we can expect occasional jihadist blowbacks for our involvement. And that's why Jewish and Arab Americans are at each other's throats and saying vile things on American social media platforms. Appreciate you. Catch you in the next one. This week is going to be light. I'm going to be out of town. Unfortunately, that does start tomorrow night, so I'm not going to have a whole lot of commentary this week. My apologies in advance. Good news is the channel is small, and honestly, I think this is way more fire and meaty content than whatever trash you've been consuming. So I hope that my combination of drama with something meaty is to your satisfaction, and I hope that you enjoy the channel. Like, share, subscribe, dislike, all that YouTube nonsense. Comment down below. If you can't think of anything to say, type in comment for the comment gods. Consider supporting us on patreon.com/counterpoints. I will catch you soon. Have a good one. Godspeed.